We celebrate Heracles and Achilles as the greatest of heroes, yet long before they were ever born there was a man who slaughtered a dragon, and from its teeth planted the very seeds of an empire. I'm Nikos, speaking to you from Greece, and today we explore the epic and tragic tale of Cadmus, the man who achieved greatness before all else, becoming the first true hero of Greek mythology. Long ago, in the great city of Tyre in the east, King Agenor and Queen Telephassa ruled in peace. Their kingdom was wealthy, but their absolute pride were their 5 children. Among them was their greatest joy, their only daughter, Europa. She was a maiden of such breathtaking beauty that she drew the attention of gods and mortals alike. One fateful day, while Europa was playing by the shore with her companions, gathering flowers near the crashing waves, the gentle breeze carried to them the scent of sweet honey. Suddenly, out of the brush emerged a creature of impossible beauty, a snow-white bull with horns that shimmered like gemstones. Mesmerized by its calm, almost human gaze, Europa approached. She wove garlands of flowers around its neck and, trusting the beast, climbed upon its broad, comforting back. But the moment she did, the bull surged forward. It plunged into the sea, swimming with terrifying speed away from the shore. Europa's screams echoed across the waves, but it was too late. For the beast was Zeus, the king of the gods himself, who planned to spirit the princess away to the island of Crete. There, the young woman would eventually become the island's first queen, and by Zeus give birth to sons who would one day play significant roles in the fates of mankind. King Agenor was blinded by grief and fury. Desperate, he summoned his 4 sons and gave them an impossible command.
"Search the earth, find your sister, and do not dare return without her."
With heavy hearts, the brothers took to the seas. However, after years of wandering, they realized the futility of their quest. Inevitably, 3 of them gave up, settling in distant lands to found their own legacies. Phoenix became the ruler of Phoenicia, Cilix founded the kingdom of Cilicia, and Thasos brought civilization to the island of Thasos. Yet Cadmus, the youngest, driven by a profound love for his sister and a stubborn refusal to fail, pressed on, eventually reaching the beautiful shores of Greece. He spent years in continuous search. And it was during these wanderings that Cadmus gifted the Greeks something even more valuable than gold: the Phoenician alphabet. He was the man who introduced the very concept of writing to the Greek world, an innovation that would forever alter the course of human history. Eventually, he made his way to Delphi, seeking the wisdom of the great oracle. Yet the priestess did not give him a map to his sister. Instead, she changed his destiny.
"Abandon your search for Europa,"
the oracle proclaimed.
"Your path lies elsewhere. Go forth and find the cow with the mark of a half-moon on her flank. Follow her until she collapses from exhaustion. Where she rests, you shall build your new home."
Though his heart ached for the sister he had lost, Cadmus chose to obey the divine will. He was confused by the cryptic riddle, yet just a few days later, Pelagon, the king of Phocis, eager to express his gratitude to the man who introduced the alphabet to his people, presented him with this exact mysterious cow. True to the prophecy, the moment the animal saw Cadmus, it began a slow, deliberate march. Through valleys, over hills, and across fast-flowing rivers it led, and Cadmus followed. Finally, in the lush plains of Boeotia, the exhausted creature let out a heavy sigh and sank to the earth. This was the fated place. Cadmus decided to offer the cow as a sacrifice to Athena, the goddess of wisdom, asking for guidance. Thus, he sent his loyal men to fetch clean water from the nearby Ismenian spring. And he waited. Hours passed. The sun began to set, yet his men did not return. Dread overtook him. Mastering his courage, he took up his spear and followed their trail. When he arrived, a scene of absolute horror unfolded before him. Scattered across the rocks were the torn, lifeless bodies of his friends. And rising from the depths of the spring was a monster unlike any other. A massive water dragon, its fangs dripping with their blood. Yet Cadmus did not flee. His heart burned with a desire for vengeance for the unjust fate of his men. Unleashing a furious cry, he lunged at the monster, driving his spear deep into its wide gaping mouth. With a single powerful strike, the hero triumphed over the beast, though he could not know that he had just made a terrible enemy. For the dragon was sacred to Ares, the god of war himself. With the monster gone, Cadmus took clear water from the spring and returned to his fated place to perform his sacrifice. Through the smoke, Athena appeared and offered him a most strange command.
Plow the earth, Cadmus, but do not plant seeds. Instead, sow the teeth of the fallen dragon.
And so, Cadmus extracted the teeth from the monster and buried them deep into the soil. Soon after, the earth began to tremble. Tips of bronze spears pierced the dirt from below. Following them were fully armored, fierce warriors, howling as they emerged. They were the Spartoi, the Sown men. Before they could turn their weapons on him, the clever Cadmus picked up a stone and hurled it into their ranks, striking one of the warriors. Accusing each other of the cowardly strike, the Spartoi immediately turned on one another. What followed was a massacre. In mere minutes, the earth was stained with the blood of the severed warriors. Only 5 of them were left standing. Dropping their weapons, these 5 survivors knelt before Cadmus, pledging their eternal loyalty. With the help of the Spartoi, who would go on to found the noble houses of the region, Cadmus built a mighty citadel, the Cadmea. In time, Cadmea prospered due to its renowned walls, commerce, and fertile lands, and came to be known as the legendary city of Thebes. Yet the gods rarely forget what is owed to them. Ares demanded a blood price for his beloved dragon. For 8 long years, Cadmus was forced to serve as a humble servant to the god of war to repay his debt. For 8 long years, the hero endured the god's wrath with honor and humility. When his penance was finally complete, the gods, moved by his nobility, rewarded him beyond measure. They offered him a heavenly bride, Harmonia, the beautiful goddess of harmony and daughter of Ares and Aphrodite. Their wedding was a spectacle unlike any other, the very first time the Olympian gods descended to the earth to attend the marriage of a mortal. And with them they brought the most wondrous of gifts. Yet among these treasures was a gift that harbored a dark and terrible malice. Hephaestus, the divine smith and scorned husband of Aphrodite, had forged a stunning necklace of gold and precious gems for the bride. But inside, he had woven a terrible curse, as vengeance meant to punish Harmonia for her mother's infidelity. This necklace would grant the wearer eternal youth, but it would also condemn her to inescapable tragedy. And tragedy it brought. Cadmus and Harmonia loved each other deeply and bore several children. They ruled Thebes wisely for many years, but they were forced to watch as their family was slowly destroyed by the curse. Their daughter Semele caught the eye of Zeus, but due to Hera's trickery, she was incinerated alive when witnessing the god's divine form. Their second daughter, Ino, was also persecuted by Hera and leaped with her son from a cliff into the crashing sea. Their third daughter, Atonoi, was driven into a deep despair after her son Actaeon was torn apart by his own hounds. And their fourth daughter, Agave, was driven to madness by Dionysus and tore apart her own son, Pentheus, who had recently taken the throne of Thebes. The great founder of Thebes had built walls strong enough to deter any army, but he could not protect his own blood from the unspeakable tragedies that befell them. The grief was too much to bear. Unable to walk the streets of Thebes without seeing the ghosts of their lineage, the aging king and his beloved Harmonia finally left their magnificent city behind. They wandered far north into the land of Illyria, where they lived for some time before their sorrow completely broke them. One evening, the broken and weary Cadmus whispered into the void.
Was it a dragon? Was it the serpent of Ares that brought this endless ruin upon my house? If the gods care so much for the life of a serpent, then I wish they would turn me into one as well.
In an act of utmost cruelty, Ares, who still bore resentment against him, answered his plea. In an instant, Cadmus felt his skin harden. His legs fused together as simmering scales erupted across his body. He fell to the earth, his form stretching and twisting into that of a massive serpent. Harmonia, weeping for the only man she had ever loved, could not bear to live in a world without him. She cried out to the heavens, begging to share his fate. Athena, taking pity on the tragic couple, granted her wish, transforming the beautiful goddess of harmony into a serpent as well. The once great king and queen of Thebes spent their final days coiled together, finding comfort in each other's embrace once more. And when they passed, out of pity for their suffering, Zeus honored them by sending them to the Elysian fields. It was there that the loving couple at last found their deserved peace. If you made it this far, I just want to say thank you. It means the world to me to share with you the myths and stories of my homeland. If there's one thing to take from today's tale, let it be this. Sometimes we must abandon the search for what we have lost, so we can finally build the future we're meant to find. If you enjoyed this video, please stay tuned for the next episode of Greek Mythology, and until next time, take care.